Hi, welcome to Lecture 3, where we're going to start talking about how to build your business. In Lecture 2, we discussed whether or not this is even something you'd like to do. You're here, so evidently it is, and that's great. So now you might have a lot of questions, or maybe you don't even know what questions you're going to ask. So from here on out, we're going to start talking about how to set up and prepare the beginning stages of your own home inspection business. Now we'll have a chance to get to some practical steps that you'll need to take to get going as a home inspector. This path may be different for you than others. Some will get going within a few months, and some may take a year or even longer. This course will provide the essentials. The details will fill themselves in once you get started on them and follow them. We've already talked about thinking ahead to considering your business formation, so you can put that aside for the time being until you get up and running on your own. The first thing you most likely want to do is join a trade association. There aren't many of them, but they will have some resources and will be your ticket to accountability and often legal requirements required to become an inspector. What it comes down to are the requirements of your state, which you'll have to find out. Many states require a license to operate, while other states, such as Pennsylvania, the state where I run my business, only require that you be a member in good standing with a trade association. But let's take a step back for a second because you may be wondering what a trade association even is. It's a not-for-profit organization made up of a collection of companies and/or individuals with common interests who work in the same industry. So they act as a representative body for the industry they represent, putting forward the collective view and position of its members. As the industry voice, trade associations speak on behalf of their members to government, agencies, regulators, media. Associations also work to maintain the standards for their industry. There's usually membership required or a subscription fee, most likely annually, and the specific membership criteria have to be met and maintained by you. So in exchange for member subscription fees, trade associations provide products, services, and representation on behalf of their members like you. Essentially, the two largest national trade associations in America are ASHI, or the American Society of Home Inspectors, and INTERNACHI. The history of these is complicated as they've absorbed other associations who've gone out of business, but these are the two main associations out there that most of the inspectors in America use. The last option is to join a more local, smaller firm, though, to be honest, I don't know much about these. And you could ask at your local Chamber of Commerce, see what they can tell you about them. The next thing you need to do is find a mentor, a home inspector who is fully licensed or is a full member of a trade association who's going to take you under his or her wing. A mentor must be an experienced home inspector who's capable of walking you through a lot of the steps we're talking about in this course. He or she is vital to your early stages for helping you get established with a trade association, for deciding what tools work best for you, how to generate customers, how to establish and maintain relationships with realtors, how to address clients before, during, and after appointments, including what to say and what not to, how to do an inspection from start to finish, which also includes how you impart the findings of a home to the client, how to pick report writing software, and how to write the reports. He will also most likely be the one you reach out to with the questions in your early days once you launch out on your own. And you will have questions, lots of them. So it's important that you and your mentor are a good match. They must be patient and you must be attentive. An important factor here, no matter what you bring to the table, is that you allow the mentor to teach you and you be teachable, no matter what you already know. Many are tempted to think that an expertise in a certain field leads them to understand the nuances of home inspections. Contracting and inspections, for instance, they're not the same. And not understanding that can lead to big problems, perhaps even lawsuits. So at this point, you might be thinking, how am I going to get someone to take me under their wing? I mean, after all, aren't they basically training up someone who's going to eventually possibly take some of their work and be their competition in the future? Well, the reality is it may not be as daunting as it seems. A lot of the guys that are willing to do this for other people are like the colleague of mine who did it for me. Now, he happened to be a friend who I had known for 30 some years and eventually reconnected, and he was willing to do it for me. But his bigger motive was that he wanted to see the industry advanced properly. You hand down good information, you get better inspectors, you get better results, and you increase the industry, and it raises the standards for everyone, which is a good thing. And that's a good motive for any mentor, to make sure that the people they're training are trained properly. Because frankly, there are inspectors out there who probably shouldn't be doing inspections. The other thing is they might also be so well established in their offices that they're not worried about a little bit of competition. They have their relationships with realtors, and they have their workload, or potentially they're thinking about retirement, or changing of careers or something to that effect. So there will be those out there who will be willing to take you under their wing, and it wouldn't be that hard to find. Now, if you're going to be looking to do work for another inspection firm, then they have their own mechanisms in place already to take you in and train you, without you having to go out and find an independent mentor inspector. Your mentor has other roles to play in helping you get started as well. According to your trade association or the state rules, you'll need to do a certain number of inspections alongside your mentor first. Then, after this number is satisfied, you'll go out and do your own full inspections, write the reports, and then have your mentor sign off on these. If all of these are approved, usually about 20 or 30 inspections, you're then typically certified as an associate member of your trade association. Some states may have more stringent requirements, and you'll have to find out what those are according to where you do business. After about 100 inspections or so, you can then become a full member with your association. And that's something that most realtors want to see to start recommending you to their clients. Your mentor is a key resource for helping you fundamentally design the cards and the brochures that you have and help you distribute them by getting into the door at established real estate offices. A good mentor will help you understand the nuances of how to communicate well with realtors, and even help you plan out some ways to do meet and greets or lunch seminars, where you'll present a subject to them about some aspect of home inspections or the benefits of them. They can help you establish a website based on their own experiences and help include the right tools that they may have used, such as online schedulers, bios, or samples of inspections, etc. Perhaps, though, some of the most important mentoring you can receive is how to initiate or field calls from clients or realtors, as that first impression and how cleanly it's handled is vital to converting them into paying customers. So if your mentor isn't teaching you that, find one who will, or it just might be a real slow start for you. Next up, insurance. If your mentor has enough experience in the industry, he or she will tell you it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when someone threatens to sue you with a lawsuit. Yep, it's a large consideration of running your own business in an industry where you are one of the first people they think of to sue when something goes wrong with their largest investment, their home. You are required, no matter where you are, and you'd be putting yourself at great personal risk of losing your assets if you didn't obtain errors and omissions and liability insurance. The first covers anything you might have said wrong or missed in your inspection and report, and the other covers damages that may have occurred during it. Of course, with proper training, good practices, the right documents in place, such as your pre-inspection agreement signed by the client, and proper report writing, you'll greatly reduce your risk of being sued. But sometimes none of that matters. Something broke in their home, they lawyer up, and they go after anyone with an insurance policy. That's a grim reality of the profession, but it's the one that you should be prepared for. On average, you can expect to pay a few $1,000s a year for these coverages, but they could potentially go higher depending on the market or if your insurance company pays out for any reason. And often, even if you did nothing wrong, your insurance company will pay out a lesser sum to a claimant to avoid going to court and paying lawyers' fees. This, of course, isn't fair to you since you did nothing wrong, but nevertheless, your rates will probably go up as a result anyway. This is why we try to do everything possible to deal with client complaints quickly and have all of our ducks in a row on each inspection. Ultimately, if it's your business, you'll run it the way that suits you. Eventually, you'll need to decide if you want to do more with it and expand to do ancillary inspections like mold, radon, termite, well, septic, or other inspections. But for now, stay flexible and be willing to change, adapt, and tweak your processes for what you're offering as you find what works best for you. If you want to impress, be accessible and be available. During business hours, voicemail is often a death knell to new business. A second best to answering your own phone whenever it rings is to have a special service do it for you, but it must be one that converts calls into clients because it gives them the answers they needed on the first call. Remember, you're dealing with people who are making probably the largest purchases of their life, and they're often nervous, and they may not even know what a home inspection really even is. They often need you to guide them throughout what they don't know to ask. So have a process in place that portrays your confidence and skill level so they know they're in good hands. So essentially that's it. There are going to be more details that you're going to learn along the way, particularly once you find a mentor and join a trade association, and they give you the details that we're not filling in here on some of this course. However, this is a general idea of the major fundamental factors and bullet points that you'll need to keep in mind as you start your own business and decide if this is something you'd like to do for yourself. The next portion of this course will cover home inspections and how generally they're performed. And again, you're not going to get every detail of what a home inspection is because those things are learned, they're refined, and the nuances of them grow as you continue with your business and with your mentor. So let's click the next series and let's continue on to learn what a home inspection generally looks like.